Remember, and I see the point is, I don't see we talk enough about that video where he said, vote for me now, and you're not going to have to vote again. And I posted it across all the platforms. And somehow I'm attracting MAGAville on YouTube, on TikTok. Please, if you follow Honest Network, please do, because we have to somehow create a balance there. And they say, we're Christians. We know what he meant. And I say, can you translate it to, I mean, I'm a Christian, but can you translate it to everybody else what he means? And then there's crickets. So I'm not sure what he means, but I take it at face value as to what I hear. So let's watch this 27 seconds again.
And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
We're going to have it fixed so good, you're not going to have to vote again. Well, pretty horrific. Pretty alarming. But yet again, the MAGA fan base just discredits it as a sort of another type of Trumpism. Tune in. Here we go.
Trump facing some backlash for those comments Friday night, saying his supporters won't have to vote again in 4 years. I'm joined now by the Republican governor of New Hampshire, Chris Sununu. Governor, what the heck did he mean there?
Well, I think that was a classic Trumpism, if you will. I think he's just trying to make the point that this stuff can be fixed. Obviously, we want everybody to vote in all elections, but I think he was just trying to make a hyperbolic point that it can be fixed as long as he gets back into office and all that. But, classic Trump right there.
Okay. And just days, let's turn to President Biden and Kamala Harris. Just days before President Biden.
Sununu. No, Sununu. It's not Trumpism. It's alarming. And if he meant that the life will be so good, you won't even have to bother voting because the life will be so good. Well, that just, all of it leads to the same, taking a fundamental right away, which is a core of democracy. Demos kratos, right? The rule of people. People are ruling. Again, same. What President Biden today featured in his opinion piece in Washington Post talking about Supreme Court, that people rule in America, not kings, not queens, not justices, not presidents. People rule. Demos kratos. Democracy. That's the core of democracy. If you take that away, it's not a democracy. That means you're going against anything and everything that is United States of America, goddammit. Can we start discussing it? Can we start hearing it? I have no problem hearing it. I hope you don't either. Why do others have an issue hearing it and comprehending what they hear? But let's recall what Liz Cheney said about Trump, about his agenda, and what it would be like if he comes back to power.
No time for pleasantries after I read this book. You said in the starkest terms, we will be voting on whether to preserve our republic in the next election. You think this is a vote about whether or not we still have democracy in this country?
It certainly is, and Donald Trump has told us exactly what he will do. He will not abide by the rulings of the courts. He will certainly appoint people to office, whether or not they can be confirmed by the Senate. He has talked about using the military in terms that really are fundamentally un-American, including here in the United States. So it's a very dangerous moment, and it's a moment for people to understand that cannot be the path that we go down as a country.
Just yesterday in an interview, you said fundamentally there's a choice to be made. You can't be both for Donald Trump and for the Constitution. You have to choose.
Yeah.
A vote for Donald Trump is unconstitutional, anti-American.
Well, he won't support and uphold the Constitution. We've already seen what happened. He is the only president in American history who attempted to overturn an election, who attempted to seize power, to stay in power after he had lost. And the reason that we didn't have a much more serious crisis was because there were people around him who stopped him, because there were people around the country, state officials, for example, who stopped him, who did not yield to the pressure that he put on them to change votes from Biden to Trump. We won't have that safeguard again. And he's so dangerous. If you have a president who is unwilling to abide by the rulings of the courts, who's unwilling to uphold the Constitution, then there are no guardrails who can stop him.
And if you doubt her, just think about what the new administration would be, and why is Trump having a new VP? Why is it not Mike Pence? Think about it. If everything was so good, why it isn't Mike Pence? And then think about January 6th, that Mike Pence held on to his little bit of dignity and said, heck to the no, we're not going to overturn the results of this election. And he's gone. And the new administration is recruited through this Project 2025 recruitment system. It's a school that teaches people, the MAGA people, how to think, how to follow the leader. It's a cult. It's a cult that can be installed as an official administration. Think about Hitler. Everything he did in Germany, anything, all the terror against Jews and all the cleansing and whatever they framed, it was legal. Before that, it was legal. It became legal. And that administration was ruling legally. He was elected, and then the rules have been amended to allow him to do that. He was not going against the Constitution. It was allowed. So the fundamental basis creates that dictator that becomes violent. And think about that Project 2025. And now, with this in mind, listen to Project 2025 leader Kevin Roberts, where he talks about that fight moment. Listen.
I told you I would tell you why it's bad, maybe add a little bit of color, but also tell you why we're going to win. We are winning. There are a lot of victories that have been secured. Some of them are partial. Some of them in ways that the other side doesn't yet know are foundations for what's coming. And that's just the beginning. And we're not going to tell you everything that's coming, because for the first time that I'm aware of, the conservative movement, or as I really like to put it, the common sense movement in the United States, has really nothing to do with ideology, is ready to fight.
Common sense movement. With this in mind, listen to Trump.
We're going to give immunity to police so they can do their job. I'm giving federal immunity to police officers so they can do their job.
Federal immunity to police officers so they can do their job.